Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RollPlay Live, Court of Swords. As you can see here on the floor, we have a traitorous D20. This is what we do to traitors. We hurl them away from us. This die is outcast from the game. Good thing we have so many more to carry on our campaign. Look at all these D20s. We got them. These are the good ones, but I'm really hoping that one of these doesn't get cursed because JP's going to get a broken window.
Well, you stole mine, so.
Yeah, you took mine.
This is fine. This one's good. This one's okay. All right. Unless it's cursed.
Unless it's cursed, right?
Yeah. Dice superstition.
I curse it.
Don't do that.
With this, I mean, especially with these. Nope. What do you think this is? This is like gypsy cloth right here. I'm just
get out of here. All right. So the plan here is to intercept the nomads, right? To meet them on part of their arc, following the herd, to reunite this little group of aurochs that you've got with the larger herd. Yeah, and then also to be like, hey, we brought these back for you. Please don't treat us like garbage.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
give us arrows.
So you're out on the grasslands, and we can see in the distance, not too far, maybe an hour or so away, we can see in the distance the amber of the dying fields. Further on, there's the earliest sort of shadows at the edges of your vision of the forest on the horizon. But between here and there, running alongside the river, you can see tiny wisps of blue-gray smoke rising up from what look, even at distance, look like tents. So these are the hide tents of the human, not really a settlement, but the human nomads that live in this area. So they wander on a circuit, following their herd, feeding them off of the grassland. And as you predicted, because you're the wanderer, you know your way around, you predicted they would be here. And and now they lie in wait in the grasslands. So do you want to are you just going to like walk up and be like, yo, what up, humans? Or
no, I think when we're, I don't know, far enough out to where they can't spot us, but far enough where I can
I figure that's
them.
where this is, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, sure. So if we're at that point, I kind of stop the group. Maybe the four of us are kind of like what I said the last time. The four of us are standing there, and I just kind of bluntly say, we can't walk in there. It's going to have to be Catman. If me and Yom go, they're going to know something's up. If she goes in, all hell's going to break loose.
No, we could go together and be like we're hunters that found their cattle and request whatever they can.
I think they're going to try to shoot me on sight.
You can't go.
No,
yeah.
I need to stay.
I don't think she's going to be able to go for sure.
No.
Well, what if you just go by yourself?
I could.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that bow. You can handle yourself.
Thank you for saying that.
I wasn't complimenting. I was just making a statement.
It wasn't a compliment. It was an observation. You're hot. Don't say that to me. I was just saying.
Just saying, God.
Well, either way, thank you for saying it. I can go in by myself if you guys want me to. I mean, last thing I want is you two to go on a little ego brawl in the middle of all that and
that's
make
done
things.
with.
Yeah.
It's over.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
Well, we're equals. That's all it means.
Equals, right?
Not in age.
So anyways, I can go. What do you guys need?
Well,
arrows.
I don't need anything. This is for y'all.
Arrows.
This is really easy. I don't.
Possibly, information if they have any. If they're traveling, right?
Yeah, they wander the grasslands, right? This is their domain.
So if they have information about if they've been near the forest and seen anything, would be useful.
Yeah, we got to stop a wedding or something. I don't know how anyone else weds, but
I'm not sure they'd know anything about the wedding.
You don't want to be in 100 feet of a dwarven wedding. If you thought that brawl was something,
the bride and the groom, they go at it. Oh.
Go
on.
You understand.
Dwarven secrets, y'all.
Yeah. Sorry.
Dwarven secrets.
I can make my way into town.
Just ask
That's
them.
it? Just arrows, information?
Some arrows for you, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Thorn just starts walking over there.
So I have to tell them to follow him, right?
Sure.
So I imagine that this sounds so dumb because they're just these animals, right? But they're the only creatures of the whole entire ever that have never run away in absolute fear, right? So there's kind of this emotional parting between me and the dad and the mom and the baby of butting the horns together and then kind of telling them to go with him. At this point, I think I can't speak to them anymore. I think that's probably worn off. But the gesturing is definitely there of them? Do we give them? I feel like we also gave them berries.
I mean, there's a
To go.
limited amount of berries to go around, so
It's fine. I had some
yeah.
in
I
my
think
pocket.
the calf probably like lingers a little bit before he goes, and kind of like it has to be like nudged along by the mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, the three of them just follow along behind you, and you head for the encampment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as you get closer, you can hear the sounds of human families doing things. You can hear animals making animal sounds. You hear the barking of a dog somewhere. You can see that there are 3 main family like tents. And they're big tents. They're like 24 feet across. Big tents that they would fold up and then put on the back of the animals. And you can see the animals that they ride through the plains. There's a group of giant goats that are grazing in the grass, like digging for food. And you can see them off to one side. All these big shaggy goats. You would guess at a glance there's probably no more than a couple of dozen people in this whole thing. And I don't imagine you're making any attempt to be like stealthy or anything. You're just walking up.
No, I'm just walking calmly.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a group of kids, and they're playing some kind of game. They have a ring in the dirt, a ring drawn and cut into sections, and they're throwing stones in the ring, and they're like doing a little chanting song, and like jumping over the lines and stuff. But they stop when they see you, and they all kind of like just look up and stare at you, like, what the hell's that thing?
I think Thorn just kind of like smiles a little bit and then like
Yeah.
waves at him.
Okay. Yeah. 2 of them are just like paralyzed. They just stare at you as you walk by. The third one runs off into the village.
The 2 that stay there, he goes into like his little pack and he's got like just some like little marble or something like that. It's really polished, and he grabs out one of them. He's like, "Now, which one of you guys want this?"
And they look at each other, and then look at you like, nervously, doing that thing that kids do where they just like freeze up.
Yeah, and then he just like, "Go ahead, take it."
Okay. Yeah. One of them, a little boy. He's wearing like just like a plain kind of sackcloth like outfit. He's in bare feet. He comes over, and he's got his hair in 2 like long braids, and the braids have like little bits of like feathers in them.
Yeah.
And he like
As he reaches
out
as
for
he
it.
reaches, Thorn like flips his hand over and like does like a little thing like that, and sleight of hand like just it's gone.
You make it disappear.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and he just like stops, like.
He's just like, "Where'd it go? Do you see it? Did you take it?"
He looks at his friend, and his friend, she's like. What?
Then
Like,
he
you shouldn't have done it?
takes out his other paw and like goes like, "Well, let's see about." And like switches into the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well, there it is. How'd it get there?" And he's like, "Go on, you take it this time."
And so yeah, I think that the kids are like they're starting to like warm up. Let's have you make a performance check.
Damn it! I was hoping I could just ride that out.
Yeah, let's see.
All right. Why am I doing that? Roll. All right. So I don't have a.
It's just a
Please,
flat-
please, I want to impress these kids.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hold it out, and then the little boy goes to grab it, and the girl comes and like shoves him out of the way, and she's like, and like tries to grab it from
Going
you.
to cause an uprising in the human village.
Not in like an angry way, but in a like, no, let me do it. And the 2 of them, like, yeah, they're paying very close attention to you.
Okay. He continues to go with that and just like
Okay.
keeps doing sleight hand just a little bit more, and then he like goes maybe to the girl and just like he's like, "Hold on a second," and like asks her to like tap her ear.
Yeah.
And she taps it, and as he's like, "Let me see if I can," and then he like shakes it loose, and it falls down. But it's like several of them. There's
Oh,
like
cool.
a couple marbles
Yeah,
that fall enough
so
for
yeah,
like
these,
at least.
these
a
kids
little
are
bit of them.
totally like enamored. They love it. They've never seen anything like this before.
And he's just like, "All right, bye."
Yeah. And so when you do that, you turn and you see a group of adults coming towards you. The kid that ran off went and got some.
Yeah.
So there's 3, like a mixed gender group. There's 3 of them, and yeah, they're carrying spears, but they're not like running at you with them or anything. They're just carrying them. And these ones have hide armor. They kind of look like. Yeah, everything they have is made out of like auroch leather, and then plains animals. So bits of feathers from like plains condors and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one of them has like a woven grass like hat, and they're coming towards you.
Yeah. I think Thorn regards him as like, "Hi, I believe these belong to you."
The kids.
No, the the kids.
Yeah, well, because that's so you just.
No,
have
the
one of them,
the
the one with the hat. He strides forward and he just holds his spear and he looks at you and he says what kind of spirit are you?
I'm just me, not a weird spirit. I don't mean any ill will to you guys at all. I just need some maybe
He
supplies.
puts out a hand, and there's a rattle. He's got like a bracelet of like dried seed pods. He puts out a hand, and he says, "We have a deity already. We have no need for you. Don't come to play tricks. We have nothing to give."
I'm not a deity. I'm just a traveler. Go ahead, take a look at me. And
They kind of like look at you, and then one of the other Ghostbusters says, "When someone asks you if you're a god." No. So they look at each other, and then the one in the lead says, "If you're not a deity, what are you?"
like I said, just a traveler.
And he kind of like looks.
One in need of supplies.
Make a persuade check.
Okay.
Actually, what is your? Can you read your ability? That thing you were describing before about.
All eyes on you?
Yeah.
Those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced unimaginable horror and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear you, commoners will extend every courtesy and do their utmost to help you. Unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them, they will even take up arms to fight alongside you. So they trust me unless I cross that line.
So yeah, I think what happens is you say you like just need supplies, and they kind of look at each other, and he makes eye contact with you, and he comes forward and he puts his hand on your shoulder, if you let him.
Yeah.
And he says, "Night is coming. It's not safe. Come with us." And he gestures to one of the tents.
Okay. And he follows him.
Okay. All right. So we kind of like wipe to the inside of a tent, and they've kind of called everyone inside now. They bring the goats in from outside, so the goats are kind of like just in the tent. There's a big fire pit in the middle, and you've been brought into one of these tents. And there's maybe like 13 or 14 people in here. It's a little crowded because people have come to see the outsider, right? And there are all these villagers of varying age. There's kids, adults, warriors and herdsmen, and then like the elderly. There's some older folk, but there's no obvious like leader or anything. But the warrior that you were talking to, his name is Snow, and he's introduced himself, and he has these other like warriors with him, named Peace and Whisper, and they all are like asking you like, where did you come from? What have you seen? What brought you to the grasslands? How much do you tell him?
I think Thorn, just to summarize it, because it's probably a lengthy conversation, he just says he's wandered pretty much all of his life. He takes himself wherever, interesting things are, and he knows that there's been issues in this area. He mentions the river and things of that nature, and he's investigating it, and he's just passing through the area. Not completely familiar with the area, but, here to help if possible.
Yeah, so Snow, he says to you, he nods and says, "Maple told us of Nadi and her disappearance. It's why the river is drained up. We don't know what we did wrong. We've been making all the prayers, as we always have. The right sacrifices, blood in the river. But nothing."
Well, I've heard that there's turmoil amongst the gods a little bit. Maybe perhaps involving the forest god.
When you see the forest, he like spits, and one of the other one like touches the side of his eye. And he says, "Vana."
That's the one.
And he nods and he says, "We do not go into the woods. The dark woods are no place for man. Vana is a jealous god. Have you heard? Is Vana responsible for this misfortune?"
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. I'm willing to check it out myself, because...
And so you're basically like, you have an audience now, like whether it's a private conversation,
Yeah.
but in this kind of space, like they don't really have any sense of privacy, and everyone is just like gathered around listening.
It's like C-3PO in Star Wars.
Yeah, right. And Snow says, "Have you been traveling alone?"
Mainly. I've been up with a couple friends. I mean, I don't stay in one place very long, so it doesn't lend yourself to making friends. Nice to come across you guys.
He nods and he says, "You have seen much, and as you say, it is good to have friends, especially if you are seeking the goddess. We need her returned. I fear." And he kind of trails off because he doesn't want to like everybody. You may be looking around. You can see in the faces of all these villagers this combination of like fear and hope, right? They're like, oh, a new thing is happening. Like some stranger might be the key to like fixing these problems that we're having. So they're all looking at you kind of like, you're here to save us, right? Like this is a change.
I think maybe as Thorn looks around and sees everybody like going like really wide-eyed, and he's like, now I don't want to promise too much. I'm going to do what I can if I can help. But even I have limitations. Like you guys said, and I told you, I'm not a deity. But I do have some skills.
And there's some like whispering among the crowd, and Snow Snow says, "You may stay with us if you wish. It's not safe in the plains at night, and dark creatures abound. We lost several of the herd to." And you can see him like trying to find a way to describe the things that took like the herd. And he says, "Burrowers, beasts from below." He shakes his head. And you look over, and one of the warriors you notice now has like an injury, like he's nursing an injury, and another one. They look like they've been in a fight recently.
Yeah.
And he points and he says, "Whisper lost his brother. Times are hard."
Yeah, I saw those. That's actually what we saved those from.
And he nods and he says, the herd is thinning, so your gift is appreciated. It will help us last a little longer.
Well, I appreciate the offer of staying here, but I've never been one to impose, and also I prefer to sleep out amongst. Maybe I can see if anyone's going to harm you guys and give you warning.
And they look at each other like, that's crazy, like you're sleeping outside a tent. It's
It's
like you're just reinforcing that you're like this weird outsider.
As they're saying that, I'm like, look at me.
Yeah, totally. And so he says, but before you go, and he looks out the door of the tent, and he says, "You must speak with Maple."
Who's Maple?
The druid.
Oh, you guys got a druid, huh?
He nods, and he says, "We have been blessed. She's the priestess of Nadi. She will want to speak with you before you go."
And I her. Where is she?
And he turns to Whisper and says, "Whisper, take the stranger to see Maple." And then he says, "While you speak with her, I will gather the things that you need." And so I assume you've told
Yeah, I'm
them,
just
like
some arrows and maybe some rations and things
yeah,
like
they can
that.
get he'll get some supplies together
Yeah.
and see what he can find for you. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So Whisper, like limping slightly, stands up and says kind of gruffly, like, "Come with me."
Okay, follows.
Okay. All right. So the two of you leave this tent, and you notice that there are the three main tents, these big family tents, and then sort of off to the side, there's a much smaller tent with a sort of dim orange glow coming from its closed flaps. These are like big yurts, right, like Mongolian style like tents.
Yeah.
And along the way, planted in the ground, there's like 4 or 5 of these sort of poles. They're like long wooden sticks with like bones and stuff tied to them that kind of mark the path. And he says to you, he stops like quite a ways away. He's like leading you up there, and then he stops, and he says, he shakes his head. He says, "I can go no further, but if Maple wishes to speak with you," and he gestures. He said, "You'll know."
Fair enough. And he just starts walking forward.
Okay.
Kind of slowly, not like afraid, but just kind of feeling out to see
Yeah.
if there's any sort of resistance or.
So as you walk past the first marker, the bones start to kind of like rattle. As if there was a breeze, but they're just kind of moving. You don't feel any like wind in your fur.
Yeah.
As you get to the second, they're all kind of like starting to rattle a little bit more. They're like bony teeth clicking together, and you can hear a faint like singing, sort of tuneless singing as you approach the tent. It's like coming from the tent. There's maybe the sound of like a rattle shaking or like a faint drum.
Yeah, I think Thorn's like a little shaken from it, but not too. Like he's seen weird stuff too before. He's just like, all right. Cool, great. Talk to the priest lady. Like as it's like getting creepier and creepier.
Yeah.
It just keeps going at a steady pace.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk up to the outside of the tent, and you can hear inside. You can smell a like heady like incense wafting from the inside of the tent, and you can hear a faint like drumming, like a rhythmic sort of drumming sound, and then occasionally, someone like chanting.
Dude, how long is this thing that I'm going down? Like,
You're at the end. You're standing outside the tent.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he just waits for a moment just to see if anything changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Kinda feels out.
Yeah, if you pause, the music kind of like fades.
Yeah.
And then it's just quiet. The sound of the planes.
And then he's just like, Maple? Anyone there? I was told to talk to you, maybe? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you hear a voice from inside that says, "Come in."
Well, that was easy. He just walks in.
Yeah. Okay. So you walk inside. So it's a small tent where a single person would live. There's a bed kind of area of like calfskin or something that's been stuffed with straw. So there's like a little mattress there. There's a little a pack kind of chest sitting in one side, and then the rest of the place is hard to see. Your eyes start watering as soon as you come in because it's full of this like white smoke, and there's a fire burning in the middle, and there's something that's giving off this smoke sitting in like a stone bowl. You see standing in the smoke, looking at you, a figure. It looks to be human. She's wearing a skirt of grass. And she's naked from the waist up, and you can see along the outside of her arms and like down the front of her her sternum, she has little pieces of bone that have been like pushed through the skin on both sides. She has long red hair, and it's like pretty like matted. And then she's wearing a mask over her whole face. It's like a wooden carved mask that looks like a woman's face. And its lips have been painted blue, and there's holes where you can see her eyes through, and she has these like deep blue eyes. And she's holding in one hand a hide drum, and then in the other a stick with a like paddle on the end for playing the drum. And she stops, and she like kind of cocks her head at you and looks.
Hi.
She puts the stick in her other hand, and she gestures. She's like, "Come inside."
I love your drum, by the way. Just walks up.
Okay. So the flap of the tent kind of falls closed behind you, and she says, "You're a long way from home to Baxi."
Yeah, for many years now.
She nods. The wind wanders too. What have you brought me?
Me, really. Hopefully helping. And I brought, these cattle that were part of the people here and saved them from whatever those monsters are. I don't know what the name is for them, but nasty little beasts. Well, not so little, but,
She,
he like says like kind of nervously.
Even horrors need to eat. As the gods feed off our prayers, those beasts feed on our cattle.
That is correct, I would assume. I'm going to be honest, you're a little spooky. I've met some like you, but each one's different, so kind of feeling you out right now. Just full transparency.
She like puts her hand out and like gestures for you to like give her your hand.
I'm going to trust you.
Okay. So she takes her hand, like palm up, and like puts her face to your palm and like inhales deeply. And you can see her eyes kind of roll back in her head a little bit. And then she shakes her head and she says, "You stink of mountains. I smell parwat on you. And something else. Something wrong."
I don't know about wrong.
Who do you travel with?
Companions.
Who?
People that I met.
How tall are you?
I want to say I'm like 6 foot. I think it might be just 6 foot. Let me see what I put. I don't have it on here. I think he's like 6'1".
Okay,
6 foot,
so
just
she's
like
shorter than you, but
little taller than.
She steps up to you and like looks up at you, and she's like right in front of you,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Who?"
All right, listen. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't want to spook anyone else there, but I'm going to ask you to take any sort of predisposed opinions you have on different folk and try to, be open. These are people that I met. I don't know if I trust them completely yet, but they seem like they have good intentions. I know I've done fair share of. He like rambles.
Yeah. He trails off, and she just stares at you, squinting, and you see her eyes through her mask.
Some dwarf folk. Oh, I know, crazy.
She shakes her head, and
then
she says, the children of the mountain are not what I'm concerned about."
Oh, the other one. I don't even know what that is.
She pokes you in the chest, and she says, "You need to be more careful. She is a dangerous creature, the one you travel with. Hell-touched."
I mean, I see that she's weird. I get that. But she did help save those animals for the herd here, so not all bad. I judge people on their actions and what I feel from them. And while she a little spooky, sometimes rivals even you, but I don't get that she's completely evil, if that's a thing.
You are walking around with your eyes closed. You will not see the knife before she puts it in your back. You're going to the woods?
How'd you know that?
She doesn't say anything.
I mean, the good thing about the way I operate is I keep a good distance from people. So unless she's got a real good arm on her, and I've seen her try to shoot. I'm better.
You
know.
are walking into her mother's house. You will only find danger there. You're looking for Vanna?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, trying to restore the water. I mean, everything's all fucked up if I'm honest, but I don't even know if I'm gonna live. But to be honest, what's life without a little thrill? You know?
She laughs, and she says, "Thrill can be dangerous too, but your life is your own. If you are looking for Nadia, I do not think you'll find her in the woods. Who told you to go there?
Mountain people.
Children of Parwat.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Old Man Mountain is angry, belligerent, greedy.
What do you know of Nadi? I mean, it's important we all get her back. Obviously, you have some sort of relationship with her, so...
She nods, and the little beads in her hair clack together, and she says, "Yes, my family has served her for generations. She is the River Mother, gives life."
She cool?
She laughs, and she says, "Nadi is as the river. You cannot meet her the same way 2 times. She changes, wanders. Not this time, though. Captured, taken away."
I'm gonna be honest. I usually just let the gods do their thing. I do me, they do their thing. I'm nobody.
We are
But-
all reliant on the gods for life. God of earth, sky, of woods, river, and mountain. But if Nadi is not returned, we will all die.
And that's why I'm here.
She nods, and she says, "I cannot leave my people. But if you are going to the woods," and she turns, and she goes into her bag, and she's digging through it, and she comes out with an amulet or something. It's a necklace with smooth river stones on it, and the river stones have sigils carved into them. And she goes to put it in your hands, and she says, "If you're going to the forest, keep this close. Vanna is a sorcerer. He will try to change your mind. This will protect you." She holds it in your hand.
What does it do?
She
Anything I should know?
She says, "Just wear it. Keep it close.
Okay.
Do not tell your friends about this, or they will become greedy, try to take it from you as well."
I mean, we've all been a little greedy at some point.
The dwarves are born from Parvat. They follow their father's path. If you have something they want, they will try to.
All
take
right,
it from you.
I'll hide it. And he puts it on and tucks it away.
She lets go of your hand then because she was gripping it.
You don't understand.
Yeah, but so she says before you go, she says, "Be careful in the woods, but listen when Vanna speaks. The gods can be tricky, but he will not lie to you."
So what, hide the truth sort of thing?
She shrugs and she says, "The forest is the forest. I tend the river."
So you said Nadi's... You don't think she's in the forest?
She shakes her head and she says,
But maybe a good place to start.
"Long has Nadi rebuked Vanna's affections, but neither does she like Parvat. She is free."
Like the
Both-
river. Right? Yeah. All right, cool.
Good one, metaphors. She says they both covet her. I cannot see her being caught either way.
I think there's just a long silence as he doesn't know what else to say, and he's just "Well, thanks. You've been a great help. I don't know if there's anything you need from me." He does a little mock
Yeah.
I
She
don't know what to do here.
she shakes her head and she says, "Only that you try to do some good before you wander off."
Yeah, well, I've done enough bad, so trying to feel this one out. It's new territory for me.
She nods and she says, "Like the river, everything changes."
Like the river.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah,
you leave.
walks
So the folk of the Plains tribe, they give you some arrows. I mean, they're not bow hunters really.
Yeah.
So this isn't really I think a thing they would have a ton of. So I think probably if you're looking for longbow arrows, 1 set, 20.
Okay.
And then rations enough at least to get you from here to the woods. They don't have any extra water to give you because obviously like that's in short supply.
Yeah. All right, then I guess he like takes that and bundles it up in his pack and stuff, and maybe like says hi to the kids, whatever, gives them a couple extra like whatever trinkets he has, and then thanks the people. And
so as you're leaving, I think you see there's like a weaver. Somebody's like weaving like a cloth. And you can see they're like weaving the scene of you talking to the villagers. So there's this like crude kind of drawing of you in this tapestry that they're making out of like woven wool. And they just like look at you as you pass. And they have this like long kind of like banner thing with a bunch of other like symbols of like there's the river of Nadi and like the mountain and stuff. It's like the story of their tribe, and they're like writing this into it.
I think he just kind of regards it like, huh.
Is that what I look like? Yeah. Okay. And then you can set off to meet your friends.
Yeah. I walk out and meet them.
Cool. All right. So it's well after it's gotten dark when Silent Thorn returns to you. So you've made camp outside the plains in an open area where you're not going to accidentally light the plains on fire. And I mean you're pretty stealthy. So you maybe you don't even notice him until he's like right there, like in the firelight. What are the three of you doing when Thorn returns?
What are we doing? What are you doing?
I'm sitting kind of still on the outskirts of the fire, but like close enough to, be in its light. Probably like restringing bow and just trinketing things.
Writing edgy poetry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Super edgy poetry.
How long would you say he was gone overall?
Like several hours.
Okay. I think we probably just made the camp or the fire, and then I just talked to him in Dwarven the entire time, and maybe even before that. Which I need to speak with y'all. I apologize, but it's going to be in Dwarven, the way it's meant to be.
Okay.
And then it's just blah blah blah.
Yeah,
blah
I'm just like
for the
cracking
next
up. Like,
couple
it's
hours.
probably
I
like
feel like
the
too,
worst.
by the time he's gotten back after several hours of being completely ignored and shut out in Dwarven, I'm like pretty pissed.
Yeah.
Like it's just rude.
It's been a
but, like,
couple hours.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours.
It's just
I've been
nonstop. I'm just spitting stuff at him.
I'm just
nonstop.
like, you said you're apologizing to her in Dwarven?
No, I didn't. I said that in common. I apologize.
Oh,
I need to talk to y'all, but
I
it's
thought you
gonna
said
be
you were
a Dwarven.
apologizing to her. I'm like, probably sitting over and listening to the worst apology ever.
No.
Yeah. So I'm busy like sharpening dagger and restringing whatever I can do that's just not sitting there listening to them and fuming that like
Over
they
there with
like
her.
completely cut me out of conversation for like
Yeah.
the last several hours.
Well, it's Dwarven secrets.
Yeah.
Dwarven secrets.
Yeah, I start off and maybe you ask like, what are you really doing here? What are you doing here?
No, yeah, of course, I'd want to know. Like, 'cause we really haven't. We
never
don't
really
really know.
talked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're probably sitting around the campfire. I fought with your dad, right? He was part of the clan, as it were.
The mountain dwarves.
We once fought hand in hand.
Who's better, you or him?
You'll have to ask your dad.
Well, you know what he'll say.
Well, we all tell our same story. If I tell it, I'm better. If he tells
That's
it, he's
right.
better. It's the Dwarven way.
Dwarves have a complicated relationship with the truth.
I guess we went over already, like the village, and I guess how do they come to you for this?
Well, like I said, we fought together. We're getting old. I kind of like point to my face.
Yeah, I laugh
It's
at
not
him
gonna.
and point. But dig you a grave right now.
Yeah, we're gonna need to be replaced when some of the elders die off. That's why they need you back. Your brother's not looking too good. We don't know why everyone's dying, but they are.
That probably has something to do with the gods too.
Well, still need to be replaced.
And just kind of, just the hard old dwarf is like, I'm not gonna, even if I throw jokes at me, he's just gonna be like. But yeah, I think as far as there's not really any questions I think I have left after that. I mean, what about as far as the druid stuff goes?
Well, everyone deals with the rage in their own way. Like, hold up my axe, and she keeps it away from me. After the fight, I know it's over.
I love this idea that like even like human barbarians and like in the modern kind of time, like the way that Berg, and this actually fits really well with that, like the way that you learn to fight would be like a dwarven like fighting style essentially, because there's this eons old lineage of barbarians as a means to channel that like inner rage that the dwarves have, and they're like it's like a metaphor.
Totems.
Well, they're like a metaphor for the earth, right? In that they're like stony and like cold on the outside, but they have this burning like magma core that sometimes gets out. I think that's really cool that like that lineage came from the dwarves, and then got repurposed for like the way that Berg fights. That's really cool. Yeah. So you're saying like it's like we all deal with it. I have my totem and my axe.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this whole bear thing, this berry thing, maybe that's your way.
It works well for me.
Well, if you're in the position of an elder, you could make it that way.
I mean,
People won't question you.
how many dwarves do you know that can turn to a bear? Ha!
You're the first.
Ha! That's right. The first. Hopefully not the last.
Well, if we get out of here, you're going back. I promised your parents.
You gonna twist my arm?
No, I'll break it, and then I'll drag you.
Slap my leg and laugh about that. But yeah.
Okay, so maybe at that like this is when you return, right? You see them having this conversation. You can see gloomily at the edge of the campfire. You can see the.
I think maybe Thorn hears them talking in Dwarvish, and he thinks it's funny to say hi in Dwarvish. So he's like, hi.
Yeah.
I mean, we have dark vision. We might be able to see you, unless you're at the range of that.
I'm sneaky, man. I'm
Yeah, you're
so
super.
fucking
You're
sneaky.
super sneaky.
Yeah.
I could drop from the fucking
Stealthy
trees.
like a cat.
Okay. Yeah, I reach for my weapon. Who's there?
I'm here to kill you.
I
Get him! Save us! Ah!
I think Thorn like throws a rock like right behind him.
Yeah. No, I grab you, put you behind me, and grab my weapon.
Save me, Grandpa! Save me!
Show yourself, creature.
Never. Your weapons won't save you.
I start like walking towards the darkness.
So I like think it too at this point, like I see them and I hear like this commotion and I just like yell over them like it's not a threat.
Quiet, witch. It's dwarven business.
Yeah, she's evil. Tell her shut up.
Wait, what?
What? And then he's like,
You're being
Is that you,
ambushed.
Catman?
You're being ambushed by
I'm just
Beavis
kidding,
and
it's me.
Butthead.
And then I like jump out. Like, how's it going? You guys have fun?
Oh,
It's a nice fire.
almost cleaved you in two. Put the weapon back.
How did that fool you? That was the worst voice ever. Like, what?
I'm protective.
Oh,
I didn't get this old by not checking everything out.
the ears probably. Like, looks at him like probably couldn't hear very well.
What was that?
You know that. You knew that was me. It wasn't. Good news
sorry.
and bad news.
What's
Not-
the bad news?
Well, Nadi's still, who the fuck knows? And good news is look at all this stuff. It's not a lot, but it's something. And got a little bit of information, too. Apparently, Vana, right, Vana? Mm-hmm. Vana is, you might be walking into a trap, maybe, in terms of being manipulated. I don't know a whole lot about the gods. I've always known they're there. They do their thing, I do mine, but talk to this druid priest, which she smelled you guys.
In
right away.
relation to this one?
What's her name?
Maple, you know Maple? Probably not. She seemed a
Did
little
Keith
weirder.
McDowell know Maple?
Seemed
Yeah.
a little weirder
Is
than
that,
you.
would I know Maple?
Yeah, I mean probably.
Maybe of a druid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Kishnagol might have spoken of her. Yeah.
She went the whole spooky route. You know, like I walked
Like,
up.
like, was she like naked?
She had the like, kind of had the mask on and
Yo,
everything.
it's a human.
I mean, she could feed several children.
This is why people should never leave the village.
But anyway, she told me about, the forest and says she doesn't think Nadi's there, but might be a good place to go anyways to get some information. Smelled you, hates you, by the way.
I didn't even do anything.
I know, that's what I told her. You seemed like you were good and you helped save the cattle, but
I'm used to that by now. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
good thing I didn't go, I guess.
Yeah. Smelled you guys too, but you
So
know.
we got the mountain that's blaming.
Good sign.
Nice little settlement there. Kids are nice. Not that you guys care, but maybe she'd eat one. I don't know.
I don't eat people.
I don't know anything about your people.
I don't.
No, but wait, what is this about that Naughty's not? She doesn't think she's there. Like that's we've just been lied to from the start.
That's what she said.
I mean, listen.
She said to be careful of the people from the mountain. No offense to any, you guys are hill folk, and I don't even know where the hell you're from.
The mountain.
I knew.
Yeah, don't trust her.
I knew. But yeah, she said keep her eyes open, ears open, and
So she could be still back in the mountain, but I guess we won't know until we go to the forest.
So maybe this is. Let me give you some women wisdom.
This is some love triangle stuff going on right here. This is what
If
this
it
is.
was me and I had 2 angry gods, both of whom I didn't really want to marry, and they were fighting over me, the last thing I would do is stay anywhere where they could come get me.
Well, she was captured,
So,
though, right? Was she captured? Oh,
if-
they claim she was captured.
If they're saying
So the thing about the gods in this world, as opposed to like say like Greek gods or Norse gods or whatever, is that Nadi both is goddess of the river and is the river, right? That she can't leave because she is metaphysically the river.
Right.
Her absence means that she's disconnected or whatever from her physical like form in the river, and that's why it's drying up. But in the same way that Mount Parvat can't just get up and leave because he is the mountain,
Right.
she can't be. Something must be making her, putting her in this position. Yeah, she couldn't just get up and walk away, as much as she might like to.
yeah, I wouldn't go with either one of them.
So what do you say? You think she maybe found a way to? So I. Sorry, I was nervous for a second.
Cat got your tongue.
Cat got my tongue. So what he's saying, she figured out a way to uproot herself and move?
I mean, if
That doesn't
the
sound possible.
priestess is saying that she's not in the woods, and the mountain god knows that she's not with him, then that would be the only other thing, right? That if she couldn't have left, so you would think that she would figure out a way to prevent them from taking her, right?
This is all out of my area of expertise.
That's why no one should deal with the gods. They
I
play
agree.
the tricks.
I agree with that, but we don't really have a choice. Everything's all fucked up.
I
Well,
still think we could go into the
If you
woods.
burrow deep enough into the mountain, you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, that's what somebody with a thick head might say. Mountain people. No, it's just fact.
My
You know
head
what
is
I mean?
quite thick. It's very clear.
Very thick.
Thank you. I've crushed many men with it.
Hey, look at that! Look at that head. It's like huge.
It's very big. It's a very large.
But even you guys need water at some point, and you need the stuff that uses water too. He's like trying to speak
Yeah.
simple because he
Well, and
thinks
so
like
this. I mean, this is the thing. The mountain dwarves, particularly, like the hill dwarves, have kind of moved away from some of this stuff. But in the mountains, in the kingdoms of the mountain dwarves, there are secret machines, right? Like humanity is still kind of figuring out how to like smelt steel and stuff. But dwarves they're getting that shit figured out. But to run the forges and to do all of this stuff requires a massive amount of water.
Right.
So even if you're like, we don't need to drink that shit, the forges need the water. They need the supply of fuel.
So, anyways, that's what she told me.
She said we still need to go into the forest.
She didn't outright say that, but
Do
she
you
knew
trust
that.
Maple?
I mean, I just met her, but she
You
seemed
can get
okay.
a sense of trust.
What god did she serve?
Naughty. Right, which is why I'm kind of inclined to be like, all right, maybe.
Yeah.
It's all right. But, well, now think about it. Maybe she's throwing us off the trail. He like starts
maybe.
muttering to himself.
Hey, maybe she's trying to help hide Naughty. We don't need to find her. Then the gods will find her, and then she'll have to get married to the mountain or something. And they'll have like a big mud baby.
We can't get too doubtful. I feel like if we do that, then we're just back to square one. So we might as well check it out, eliminate it as a possibility. And then she hates your guts, though. She's like hates your smell.
Most
Are
people.
we ever gonna
do.
find out about that? Like, why are you so evil?
I'm not evil. I just look evil. It's not my fault I was
All
born
right.
this way. I didn't make a deal with a demon. That wasn't my fault.
Like looks. And I was like, anyways, we should get going. After we. What time is it right now?
It's night.
Okay, so maybe we rest a little bit. I'm a little tired, but then we figure out where we're going and when.
I guess.
They said these forests aren't. That this area is not too. Probably have some watches. You know what I'm
Humans
saying?
are weak, that's why. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speak for yourself.
So you'll take first watch then.
Still
yeah?
got acid burns on my back.
You're a human?
Yeah. What do you think I was?
That's probably where the weakness comes from.
Demon horn thing?
I mean, that's fair. No one would know you're
My
human.
mom's a human. My dad's not. We'll just leave it at that.
Where does your mom live?
Oh,
In the forest.
You want to hear my family
What?
tree?
Your mom
Well,
lives in the forest?
Yes. That's where I'm from. Okay, listen. The forest, if there's anywhere I'm going to get some help, it's going to be there. I was raised there. I grew up there. I know the forest like the back of my hand.
Are there a bunch of demons there for real? That's what they're saying.
There's like one other than me, but he hasn't been around for a really long time. So
I've traveled a lot, and I've never seen. Just the first one I've met, so, you know.
Thanks.
What? It's just fact, like he says. Just fact. Whoa.
You can be better than him.
I was going to tell you my family tree, but never mind.
It's like a rock and a rock, and then there's you.
Well, actually, way back.
Oh, no, we don't want to hear this.
Okay.
He, like, goes in faith.
Anyway, I vote we go to the woods.
My mother was a lovely woman. I was taught never to take her for granted. All right, so you're gonna rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but on guard, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're worried about the. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, night passes uneventfully. Everyone's able to get a long rest in and recover their abilities.
During the
Did
rest,
we
I'm
split
gonna
the
change spell
arrows?
out.
Yeah, probably.
We
yeah.
did? Okay.
With the arrows.
I've
Well, how
taken-
many?
So
how many?
10
how
apiece.
many did you have?
I had 8.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I had 6. It's about the same, so we'll just split them.
Okay.
I switched out one of my spells during this rest.
Okay. Cool. What did you prepare instead?
Create or destroy water.
Nice. Okay. All right. Cool. So you sleep, and when the dawn comes, it's cold. The cloud cover has sort of scudded away across the sky in the night. The sun rises, and there's like a thin layer of dew all over everything that's turned to frost overnight. So there's a bit of that like shaking your blanket out and like breaking the frost off of
Probably
it.
like
and-
shaking my fur.
yeah,
and stuff,
it's quite cold, so your breath is fogging in the air.
Nipples are hard.
And it's the clear sky, clear blue sky, and the forest awaits. So you're gonna head there.
Yeah.
Yes, the best. Our first lead, anyway.
Okay. All right. So it takes a few days to get to the edge of the forest. Everybody mark off 2 rations, or if I don't know if you're doing Goodberry or
We'll go
whatever.
through the rations first.
We don't need to worry too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, we have Wanderer, too.
You have Wanderer and stuff, yeah. So you're all okay. And yeah, you reach the edge of the woods, but before you get to the edge of the woods, I would say like an hour or so's travel away. You can see it clearly through the cold winter sky. There's maybe a bit of fog in the early morning of this day, but you're at the top of a ridge, a grassy ridge that is kind of like the grass is. Like as you get closer, it gets thinner and thinner as you get closer to the woods because the trees are sapping all the nutrients out of the earth. So it's like a rocky, kind of muddy, frozen mud area. And you come to a long line. They're maybe set, like 100 yards apart. You can see them in the distance in either way. There's a line of like scarecrows essentially sticking up out of the mud. So they're not just like a T shape with like a head and some clothes hanging from it. They're obvious markers that are anyone looking at them knows like they're warding you away from the woods. So they have bones hanging from them. They're like twigs, and you recognize them right away. Yeah, these are markers that the druids that tend the land will put up to keep humans from accidentally violating the taboos that the gods have arranged. Right. So these you can make a religion check if you want to try to interpret exactly what they're saying, what these sigils mean. But yeah, there's basically a wall of them. Set apart. You can just walk past them, but they're here to ward you off.
There's one thing I did want to ask while we're traveling.
Sure.
When I took Destroy or Create Water, like when I summoned the power of the spirits to create water, does the spell work?
I think so, but the water is like flat and like dull. Like there's something like strange about its taste.
Right, okay.
But it's still nourishing.
Gotcha.
Would I know what these were as like someone has like an extra perception in the woods? Would I know what those were also?
I don't think
or no, because I'm not a druid.
they're not meant for you.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you get?
So religion, right?
Yeah,
15.
15? Okay. Yeah, so these are druidic markers. They're set up by human druids. and they are to keep the humans of the plains from wandering into the woods, because there is a taboo, as with like a lot of these, the druidic and like shamanic like cultures, the spirits make deals with each other and then force their worshippers to obey those deals. Sometimes it's, you know, never eat certain foods, or you can't go certain places, or you have to do certain things at certain times. These kind of like religious behaviors. This one is to protect the people of the plains, because if a human goes into the woods, their life is forfeit. Vana can do whatever they want with them. They belong to Vana now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I'll definitely tell you guys that this is the line. We're entering Vana's realm.
Yeah. Now, nobody ever told you about this, but like that there's this deal that any human that goes into the woods belongs to Vana.
Well, that's crazy. My mom is like just that way. My mom's a human, and we've lived there my whole life. I mean, no one's ever hurt us. We just stay by ourselves.
Maybe there's a reason your mom's lived there her whole life. I'm just saying, because can't leave.
I mean, it was more because if we went into the plains, I was definitely going to just get killed as a baby. I mean, I've always been this way. This wasn't like I didn't wake up like this. So it was either I was going to die as a baby, or we were going to live in the woods away from people.
Maybe Vana protected you, your mother and you, and maybe Vana's going to be glad that something that belongs is back.
Maybe, but if that's true, then maybe we'll be able to find out what happened to Naughty.
I hope he's a forgiving God.
I hope the forest is cool if I'm going to be potentially stuck there.
It's
you
pretty
like
cool.
it. There's a lot of trees.
I mean, you know, I climb here and there.
Yeah.
Yom, what's the penalty for passing these? Point to the scarecrow.
When you pass, your life is, you've given your life to Yom, or not Yom, excuse me, Vana, sorry. And as far as gods go, you know, interpret that for yourself.
What if I don't agree to this?
What are you going to do, fight him? You're going to fight a god?
Let's not jump to conclusions.
You're not going to fight a god.
Can we tear it down?
No. This is just simply the marker.
I like that logic. Like, that's like pulling up next to a no parking sign and just taking it down and throwing it in the street. No problem. I can park here now.
It's...
I mean, we could take these down. Let's, like, I don't know, the magic.
No, this
Catman says we could take these down.
This is to protect the people, to let them know where the line begins.
I guess that's a... Yeah.
Listen, I left and came back, and nothing happened to me. Are you scared? Are you scared of a sign?
You know about
it's
the
not even
horns
real.
and the faces.
I was always like this. You're going to be scared of a little tree and like some wards and a god you've never seen before? I've never seen him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be scared. He just says that kind of like mocking.
we don't ignore the gods because we like them.
If it makes you guys feel any better, that their gods work in their own realms. You know, if we get out, then sure, we'll be out of his reach, right? So I try to make everybody feel a little better.
Right, great.
If you're worried about it, we'll go without you. We don't need you.
You can return back to the mountain. You'll be protected. No problem.
He's going. So you can go with us or you can go home.
And you also...
Then you
I mean,
failed.
You don't know if he's coming with you. It's just...
I mean, you're not scared, are you?
Dwarf's never scared.
All right, then it's settled. We're going into the forest.
There we go. Nice job, short man.
Is that like...
So who's the first person to step over the line?
Me, 100%.
Of course, yeah.
100%.
Okay. So you're just like, all right, let's go, and you turn, and we see you walk past the sign, and that's probably where we take our break. Cool. We'll find out what it's like on the other side of the line of taboo when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Lots more Roleplay Live. Court of Swords when we get back.